What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back to the show. You want to see something really crazy off the bat? Here we have Kid Rock addressing the Pentagon today, Wednesday, April 28th. So that's the world we live in. I needed to I vetted to see if this was AI. I thought it was AI at first, not AI. Just that we live in such a paradox. What is happening? I don't know. I can't explain it. What advice? What could he possibly offer these people? What is Kid Rock? What insight does Kid Rock have that the military personnel need to know? Okay. So, I mean, we're not talking about this, but we are talking about weird things online. In fact, we're talking about how the manipulation of online. And I feel like it's become a lot more prominent as of late because people are manufacturing what you're seeing. Now, I know like that doesn't sound like anything new, and we've all been competing with algorithms as it is. In fact, I lost my mind last week and I wrote a rant about it where I've just kind of gotten back into golf, but this year I really want to be good at it. You like a few videos about fixing your swing for driving or your club swing, whatever. All of a sudden, my Instagram's like, oh, you want your entire feed to just be golf tip videos. No, you motherfucker. I did what? Who signed up for this? I swear. The algo just switches like that. It's like, oh, you just want to see this. Oh, I like a couple kettlebell videos. Oh, all you want to see is kettlebell people. That's it. That's all you want to see. Nothing else. No, not any of that other content you enjoyed literally an hour prior to liking that fucking video before. So we're already fucking dealing with that shit and what the algorithm is pushing and, you know, how that's being manipulated by fucking billionaires buying up these fucking things, which is great, and pushing whatever information to the top that they want. I feel like Twitter's balanced out too. Nah, I mean, I'm trying to give it a little bit of leeway, but I saw this morning, I saw a tweet that said that Twitter is just cigarettes for the eyes. And it's so true. It's terrible for you, but you just keep coming back because it's so good. I swear, it's hard to be as fast as traditional media because traditional media actually vets stories. So, but you will 100% see on social media, you will see any kind of event or breaking news. It is going to happen on there first, especially with all these fucking losers. Now with it being monetized, breaking news, fucking just crawl into a hole and die, motherfucker. Breaking news. But you know what? That kind of correlates to what we're talking about. And that is the coordinated efforts to manipulate the algorithm by some people, companies, entities, the government online. I know this sounds super conspiratorial, but it's not. What put me onto this is this video by Devin Nash. If you don't know who he is a marketer. He's kind of worked in the Twitch space. He's worked with creators. Here, I have a little blurb from Google if you want to hear it. So he is a prominent digital marketing expert, consultant, and content creator specializing in the creator economy, esports, and new media. So he's, you know, a little bit of an industry insider, if you will. Okay. So he made a video exposing the new manufactured viral content economy. And then, of course, he has here Clavicular, who is the number one face of that. Right here. If you've never heard of him, that's probably a good thing. He's the looks maxing guy. He's the guy that there's been words created about. But he also hammers his cheekbones and fucking microdoses meth. But he's been on 60 Minutes, so it's okay. Like, what world are we living in? And that and this is part of the reason why this has worked, and we'll get to that. So what this video goes over is it shows how this right here, which is Kick is mainstreamed clipping. If you don't know what clipping is, it's where people go in, they take a snippet of your content, and then they're posting it across on shorts, like on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, whatever, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And as you can see, Clavicular, who we were just talking about, he's at the top there with 645 clippers employed or working for him, with generating 34,667 videos, amassing over 1 billion views. So it's huge. It's big business, ladies and gentlemen. Just to give you a little back behind it, even Forbes the other day, they released an article on the creator of clipping, whose name I suck at pronouncing, William Fujiwara. That's actually the best way I've pronounced it since. But he actually credits Andrew Tate and Luke, I don't know who, Luke Belmar, with pioneering the Clip for Cash model through their online courses. What Fujiwara did was turn it into a scalable business. Bloomberg reported in October that his company, simply called Clipping, had generated roughly $7.7 million in revenue with some 23,300 contract editors. The operation behind Clavicular, the 19-year-old Kick streamer whose looks maxing content. Literally, every time you say it, you lose. If I had an HP bar, it's gone down by 2 points since I've said that word. Content turned him into one of the platform's biggest names earlier this year, who is also Fujiwara's client. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot of money in it. They talk about how some as low as 2 cents here. No employment contracts, just a Discord server, a meritocratic ladder system, and relentless volume. A single campaign for streamer Aiden Ross, who was earning roughly $1 million a week from Stake, according to Dexerto, generated 430 million views from 11,000 videos posted by 520 clippers. Bloomberg reports. Yeah, so it says right here. Well, it's more talking about Stake, and we'll say this: the right is so much better at doing this. I'm not saying that the left isn't, but right wing kind of leaning, like gambling site, like crypto gambling. The fucking president of the United States, they're really good at this coordinated effort. If you want to see it on a maximum scale, this happened actually this past weekend following the, I mean, we'll call it a potential attack on the president. I don't think it was. That guy wasn't going to make it another fucking 5 feet. Even whether it was staged or not is, that's for you to fucking debate in the comments. I don't fucking care anymore. But the narrative that came out that was blasted across social media by prominent MAGA accounts was, this is why we need Trump's ballroom immediately. So that was the narrative. And this is exactly kind of what we're talking about. This is a coordinated effort to push a narrative and change the algorithm. Because you have to think to yourself, if you're posting 34, and Devin Nash does a really good job of explaining this in the video, is if I'm posting, or someone or whatever is posting 34,000, almost 35,000 videos about someone, the algorithm picks up on that. And if and obviously it's going to be separate accounts that are doing this, right? We're talking about 645 different clippers. And that's just the ones that are registered here on Kick, okay? And if they're posting like that much about it, the algorithm picks up on that and they're like, whoa, a lot of people are talking about this. This must be a really trending topic. We need to start pushing this because this is very topical. This is going to get viewers watching. Okay. You can kind of compare it to if there's breaking news, for example, that incident on the weekend at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, that everyone's talking about that. That would be something that would just float to the top because this is breaking news. Everyone's talking about it, or a global disaster or something, right? Where everyone is talking about it. And this is complete manipulation of the algorithm where you're forcing this content into, well, to take over it essentially, because what is it going to do when it's got that much videos being pushed out, right? And again, watch Devin Nash's video because he's going to do a way better job than I am in this video to break that down. I'm just here to kind of give you a little bit of the info and then talk about it after the fact. So, and this is like the problem when it comes to this stuff is that it's, as I just read in that Forbes article, it's big business. There's also incentivizing from just the standpoint in the United States. I know here in Canada, you cannot make money off of TikTok, but people were clipping and doing this prior to it being more legitimized, and where Kick has now created kind of almost a partner program for it. And And it's because it's monetization. So sure, and again, like, you play that into this business model as well, where I said some people are paying as low as 2 cents for CPM per 1,000 views. But in Devin Nash's video, he said in some of the discords he came across, they were paying 50 cents to 75 cents, which per 1,000 views. And then some of them, they don't even pay you out unless you generate 100,000 views. So it incentivizes these people. One, you're going to want to make as much money as possible, and you're going to want to generate, like, so it all just kind of goes back to generating as much views. Well, how am I going to do that? As long as you generate 100,000 views across however many videos, it just incentivizes these people to clip and create as many fucking videos as possible, which is only driving like the narrative and your content even more, right? So it's a very interesting time that we're living in, and not just because Kid Rock is talking at the Pentagon today. It's not just because of that. It's other things. And if you think we're exempt here in Canada, you would be wrong. There's other things. For example, the Canadian Digital Media Research Network, they found roughly 20 channels working in a coordinated way, amassing nearly 40 views while presenting themselves as grassroots commentary from the province of Alberta. So it was this network of inauthentic YouTube channels posing as Albertan voices, spreading misleading content about the separation and U.S. annexation of the province, reaching tens of millions of followers, according to the report by the Canadian Digital Media Research Network. It just goes to show, like, and this is what I mean, man, like the coordinated efforts online to push certain narratives and content, and it is just working. It really is. It's getting people talking. Oh, I didn't even show this one on the screen if you didn't see it. So there you go. If you happen to be watching the video, not listening, you can see in the article, there's a ton of AI generated thumbnails on for all the videos. And it's really disheartening to see stuff like this, especially because it's so inauthentic, and it makes you kind of question, okay, so how, like, where does organic content fit into this model? And that's a good question, because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. And Devin Nash talks about this a little bit in his video, saying that for the most part, if you're trying to get into streaming now, it's almost unsustainable if you're not doing that model where it's whether you're paying someone. And again, I didn't cover this, but independent creators are also doing this, where they have kind of like a headhunting thing where if you amass X amount of views, you'll get paid out $300. Generally the people who are doing it privately they're paying more money, right? But it's more exclusive to get in and all of that. He said in Devin Nash's video, he said the only one he found that to his knowledge was not doing this tactic was the Burnt Peanut, who is currently the biggest streamer in the world. Now, I think raw talent and a niche will really rise above this, which obviously shows with the Burnt Peanut. He's funny, he's charismatic, he creates a good stream, good atmosphere. It's very chill. It's not divisive content in any which way, and it's a niche, right? So, I mean, it's not to say that there's not going to be outliers from this, but it's a very devastating kind of pill to swallow, where you realize that this is a pay-to-win system, essentially. And if you get some creators that are coming in and they're backed by money or an org, or they have an agency, a marketing firm, whatever behind them, they're going to do that. Like the creator themselves might not be pushing this, but their brands, their agencies, they're going to be 100% fucking doing this shit. Absolutely, to get to push the content out there and to just grow the audience. Again, you can just look at the clavicular as kind of a test subject to prove how this works. We're talking about someone who a year ago was not relevant on most people's radar. I don't think I had ever heard of him or anything. But then I would say probably growing over the last year, but then the looks maxing and you hear more about it. But now it's just like so prominent, and it's crazy because I'm a pretty online person and I see him a lot, but not enough to know that he was influencing enough viewership in order to garner him going on 60 Minutes, which is one of the biggest news programs ever. A renowned news program, but yeah. So I think it speaks for itself, like the power that comes with this. And I think it's very concerning that you're going to see this become a tactic that's going to be used a lot going forward, and not just by in the creator space, but as you saw, like the AI YouTube channels for Alberta separation, or whether it's for Donald Trump's ballroom or what have you. It could be anything. And I'm not just saying that it's right wing people, like orgs doing this thing. I'm not saying that at all. I think a lot of people are probably doing this and we just don't realize it. And then what are we, the people, doing? We're just arguing in the comments, being manipulated by all of this shit. So my advice to creators and everyone going forward, I would just say, make what you want. If you're trying to be a streamer, just create for you. Do not fall into the pit of trying to compete with this. You're not going to. I'm going to be so fucking honest with you. It will be so hard. My nose is so itchy. I'm so sorry. It will be so hard for you to compete with this because you're going up against fucking hundreds of people working in a coordinated effort to push one streamer, let alone, the hundreds or thousands others that are also doing this, right? So make whatever you're making, make it for you. Don't get lost in the trap of trying to compete with this, because it will be absolutely maddening. And that's what I've been trying to do when I've been kind of taking a hiatus here. I've been listening to Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, and he talks about, in one chapter, he talks about the act of creating, and if you're creating for yourself, for personal growth, or when you start doing something, are you asking the question, well, will people like this? How are people going to receive this? And he said, while there's nothing wrong with that, you might not be in the business of art. You might be in the business of commerce. And I think that's just where the industry is now. And you could call it stemming from the Mr. Beastification of it. There's so many avenues which you can look at it. And with AI, it could really just snap back to where it's more raw and authentic, because people are going to want that more and more. Again, I like Clavicular and that content. Where is that going to go? Where is he going to be 3 years from now? Is he going to be relevant, or is he going to be just someone that we used to know? I wish I had that sound effect. I don't. And it's quite possible that he could, right? Because it's just this oversaturation. It's like Pedro Pascal. People started hating Pedro Pascal. They saw too much of him. And now you don't see much of Pedro Pascal at all. Got to pull back a little bit on it. So anyway, that's it, is just make what you're making for you. And I would suggest, if you're trying to stream and you're just getting started, especially if you're just doing gaming or stuff like that, I would maybe just post videos. I don't know. I mean, don't listen to me at the same time. Don't listen to anyone but yourself. But it's a tough time where you're competing with this horse shit.